having conversations around transfers. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Yeah, many thanks for staying with us. If you're just joining, this is still Talk Sports. First half done. Now let's go into the second half of the game. Victor Osimhen thrilled to continue story with Galatasaray. Victor Osimhen says he is delighted to continue his story with Galatasaray. That's talking about the Turkish Super League champions, as he has completed his move there. Victor Osimhen arrived in Istanbul on Wednesday night to seal his permanent transfer to the Yellow and Reds. The 26-year-old was mobbed on arrival by thousands of fans. His permanent transfer to Galatasaray is expected to be made official later today. Osimhen spent the 2024-2025 season on loan with Galatasaray, helping Okan Buruk's side win a domestic double in the previous season. The 26-year-old registered 37 goals and 8 assists in 41 outing across all competition for Galatasaray, and the forward declared that he is elite to continue, excited to continue his story with the club. Galatasaray activated Victor Osimhen's £75 million release clause in his contract to seal the transfer, and then permanently medicals done arrived in Istanbul successfully, and the official unveiling will be done later today. So we'll bring you, all of the highlights and then the clips of everything, signing jerseys and, the party, everything that will be happening in line with him being welcomed back to the Turkish League. We'll be bringing you that update later in the day when all of this is done with. So still talking transfers based around Victor Osimhen. Still, Victor Osimhen becomes the most expensive player ever in Turkish football history. The Super Eagles striker Victor Osimhen has become the most expensive player in the history of the Turkish football. Osimhen was officially unveiled by Galatasaray on Wednesday night in front of thousands of fans. The 26-year-old, who spent his last season on loan from Napoli, has now signed a permanent deal with Galatasaray and is looking to continue. Then looking at it from the angle of those who end closer to him will be he is well ahead of, that's talking about Victor Osimhen now, he is well ahead of Yusuf Enrique, who cost Fenerbahce 19.5 million. The next three players are players for Galatasaray. That's Gabriel Sierra, who cost 18 million pounds, Mario Jandel, who cost 17 million pounds, and Nicolas Zelio, who cost 15 million pounds. Trajectory continues like that. Still, Galatasaray are still having conversation after signing Victor Osimhen that they are looking to sign Manu Sani from Al Hilal to also join the pack, based on the fact that they have lots of top competitions to play this season, and then they'll also be in the Champions League. So they need all the firepower that they need to, push further. They need all the quality. That's why they are looking to see if they can get Sadio Mane into the squad to help Victor Osimhen carry the team into victory. Now, I know they are dreaming so much now to see if they would be able to win the Champions League and also have a repeat of what happened in the previous season of winning the two domestic championship of the Turkish Super League. We'll see how all of that pans out and see the move that they're trying to make for this individual, Sadio Mane. Today is Thursday, and again we'll be seeing the transfer windows will be shortened down today, 11:59. So we'll see a whole lot of 9-minute transfer moves that would be made in line with the transfer windows, and with the fact that the EPL season is starting on the 13th of August. So a whole lot of teams have been re-strategizing the attack, midfield, and also defense. So we'll see how all of that pans out in the next couple of hours. We'll definitely bring you the big stories of the 9-minute transfer conversation. Still talking transfer, Alexander Isak to become Liverpool's third highest paid player. That's if the move gets completed. Alexander Isak is set to become Liverpool's third highest paid player if he seals a move this summer. Isak has already informed Newcastle about his decision to leave the club. The Swedish striker could cost the Reds a fee around 150 million euros. Liverpool were initially told that Isak wasn't for sale, forcing them to splash out 79 million on euros on Honjo Exkin. So looking at it now, but the Premier League champions are now optimistic that they could land Isak after the 25-year-old failed to travel with Newcastle for their pre-season tour in Asia. Sky in Germany reports that Isak would earn around the same amount as Erskine, who has just paid a deal worth £250,000 a week. It would make him joint third behind Mo Salah, who earns around 400,000 euros per week, and the captain Van Dijk, who also pockets around 385,000 pounds a week. So looking at this now, Isak's current earnings, it's around 120,000 a week at St. James Park. So looking at this now, if he comes, he'll be earning around 250 as well. So we'll see how all of this pans out. But now, looking at this now, if Liverpool get to splash this amount of money on Isak, then there will be a problem with FIFA and FIFA rule in terms of spending, because they haven't sold so much. You have to sell to buy. So there's a lot of rules that they'll be breaking, which Manchester City suffered the season before, where they got a couple of points deducted from them. So if Liverpool pulls through with this deal, that means they'll be overshooting the budget that was given by FIFA, and that would cost them some points when the league starts properly. So we'll see how that pans out, if they will complete this move or they would just, probably bow out and watch out for what next to happen. Maybe come the January transfer windows, they'll now overhaul some players and then get maybe Alexander. But now, what would his future be, given the fact that he has made his decision that he wants to leave Newcastle and he's not part of them in their Asian tour, which means plans now and strategies to have him away from the squad is already in place based on his own confession that he's willing to move. So let's see how that pans out. Moving on, let's talk transfer still around Jorel Hato, who is set for Chelsea's medical. Jorel Hato would be the second defender that will be not replacing, but will be, shuffling with Cucurella. Let's move on, as Ajax defender Jorel Hato is set to undergo medicals ahead of a move to Chelsea. The two clubs have now reached an agreement over the deal is excess of 40 million euros. Hato will now sign a long-term contract with the Blues, the only team he wanted to join this summer. This was confirmed by football transfer experts. This information reached us last night. And moving on, he says on his X platform, Jorel wrote that Jorel Hato to Chelsea, here we go, deal in place with Ajax for fee in excess of 40 million euros. Hato will sign a long-term deal at Chelsea. He only wanted to join Chelsea this summer, despite the fact that a whole lot of teams reached out to him, teams like Manchester United, Manchester City, and some teams too from the EPL, but he made his decision. So medical and travel set to be booked for the talented defender. Hato is expected to provide a cover for Marc Cucurella just in case anything goes wrong. So we'll see what happens. And then, given the fact that he has gotten to transfer and the medical stage, that means the deal is almost done already. So we'll see how he would be able to fit in the Chelsea squad based on what Enzo Maresca is building up now. And he has also said that this season we are looking to go for the EPL and also contend properly for the Champions League. So we'll see how all of that would happen. And Chelsea has spent so much money on the team, and we'll see how all of these new investments that has been done, would be able to, help the world champions ahead of the EPL and the Champions League season come for 2025-2026 season. We'll see how all of this pans out. And then This is really big coming from the EPL, and we're hearing rumors that Terry Henry is tipped to replace Arteta as Arsenal manager, and this might be happening in the nearest future. Former Manchester United striker Louis Saha has tipped Terry Henry to replace Mikel Arteta as Arsenal manager in the future. Arteta has restored Gunners to the title challenges again since his arrival in December 2019. Since lifting the FA Cup, the Spaniard had not won any major silver. However, Arsenal have finished runners-up in the Premier League for 3 consecutive seasons now. Despite the clear progress, some Gunners are frustrated by the lack of major trophy. Saha said Henry could end up coaching the club where he made his name. He said, "I think Henry should get an opportunity. He has the experience and he can actually pattern well with the system. He has improved as a manager and did really well with his French under-21s despite not lifting the trophy in the end. His knowledge is unbelievable and it would be great to see him manage Arsenal one day." So, campaign have started for Terry Henry to, manage Arsenal, and then we'll see how all of that pans out if Arsenal don't get to win, because now we know for over 2 decades Arsenal haven't really won any major trophies, but we will see what would happen now this season based on the fact that Gyökeres now, a lot of times they've said the lack of striker has, impacted them, not, being able to contend properly and win trophies. Now Victor Gyökeres has been signed from Sporting Lisbon, and on his arrival, his jersey sold more than any other player's jersey since his inception. So we will see how his style of play is going to fit in properly into the squad of Arsenal. But EPL is a different ball game. Look at what happened to Darwin Núñez. He was scoring goals, banking goals, finding the back of the net in the Portuguese league, but came to the EPL and then he found it very, very difficult to, manage well with Liverpool. So now we'll see how well Victor Gyökeres would manage, because he has scored 97 goals in 101 appearances when he was in the Portuguese league. So let's see how, he would be able to fit into Arsenal and how Arsenal would do this season. So moving on, EPL, Manchester United makes new appointments ahead of the new Premier League 2025-2026 season. Manchester United on Wednesday made 2 senior appointments to vital area of the Reds' leadership. Manchester United gave Christian Fumba and Mike Soncia new appointments at the Old Trafford. The Premier League club appointed Fumba as people director of the club to lead in developing and evolving the club's workforce and people culture, while Zanoni was appointed as director of data after over a decade with Mercedes Formula One team. Zanoni will be reporting to Omar Brenda, the club's chief executive, and Manchester United are keen to bolstering the club in all areas after a disappointing 2024-2025 campaign. Remember, Morris' side failed to win a major trophy last season and also finished in the second half of the English top flight league table. They also lost their UEFA Europa League final to Premier League rivals Tottenham Hotspur, and then the trajectory of the restructuring of Manchester United continues. So we are waiting to see major signings to Manchester United if they actually want to really contend properly for a title this season. They only have the EPL to battle for, so we'll see how well, given the fact that all their attention will be focused on the EPL, we'll see how well they'll be able to, perform at this year's, campaign. So we'll see how all of that pans out. But they really need to sign players. Like, we need to see a miracle happen for Manchester United within the short period of the transfer windows. So this is how much time will permit us to take on today's edition of Talk Sport. But before I let you go, I'll be leaving you with the highlights again of the interesting match between Brazil and Colombia as they battled it out in the finals, where the penalty was only the decisive goal that separated the two sides. My name is Samuel